Well, hello, YouTube. I just want to express to you younger people that when I was at the university, we had uh, nutcases on campus back then. Uh, Higher education attracts the mentally ill uh, more than it attracts the sane population, no matter what country you're in, with varying degrees of mental illness. We, you know, when I was younger, there were, I'm speaking before Band Aid, if any of you young people know about that, where all these musicians got together and they had Live Aid and Band Aid, and they raised a lot of money for uh, basically Ethiopia was going through a drought, but pre that, Ethiopia and several other African nations were going through a drought. And I just want to give you a little story of how your young world has changed from my old world. I was at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro and minding my own business, trying to uh, keep my grades in order and to get my degree. And me and a couple other guys came out of one building. I can't remember the names of these buildings very well. Or maybe we were coming out of I believe we were coming out of the school cafeteria at the university. And some people were making fun of a little group of fags, by the way. We're making fun of these Ethiopian people. And I proceeded to immediately drop my Eastpak. That was the fashion of the day. You had an Eastpak backpack. People didn't wear backpacks at secondary schools back then, but college folks had started wearing these backpacks, and the famous brand was Eastpak. And I dropped my backpack on the ground, ripped up a pair of duck head pants, which I'm sure are out of fashion, but all the college kids used to wear them back when I was in college. And I proceeded to whoop ass with little thought about it. See, I knew then that I really didn't give a damn whether I got kicked out of the university or not, because I stood on principle, stood on concrete, and I've always stood on fucking concrete, and I always will. Over my many decades of life here, I've changed my mind on some things after I've learned some things about certain types of things. But for the most part, everything's just stayed consistently the same with me because I've stood on concrete. My values are etched in stone. And I won't set back like I didn't when that group of fags was laughing and making fun of Ethiopians starving and thirsting to death back then. And I wouldn't set back right now. If I was at your candy ass university today and saw you ripping down posters of the missing kidnapped family members from Israel, and I'm not a huge Israel government backer by no means, but I see I'm different than most people. I cannot like that government, not be terribly impressed with that population, not be their best of friends, but I've got concrete to stand on. And had Israel went in there and cut off a bunch of baby heads to the Palestinians, I'd be standing up and I'd whoop the ass of any idiot that would be offending that. There's levels you don't stoop to, and going after women and children is something only the cowardice populations do. There's always collateral damage in warfare. I used to be considered kind of an expert in European strategic warfare studies, so I know a little bit about fucking war, and I know a whole lot that of innocent people meet their demise in wars. I've seen films that wouldn't dare be shown today of things that have happened to people while it happened. Cowardice. And those fucking whatever the fuck they are, Islam has a bad problem. And they need to clean it the fuck up. And I don't give a shit who knows. Yeah, I said it. And if I was at the university and seen these weirdos doing what they're doing, I wouldn't be at the university long because it would immediately go to a dark place for them in my presence. It would get very dark very quickly. I can't fathom that a young man today, or in any age, would drop his principles to stay in one of these sick, filthy institutions. We are living in an era where that lesbian soccer player, that little Rapinoe weirdo, that little thing, bullied our Olympic team and our whatever world events that ladies soccer team has been in. We've got grown 6 foot 5 inch 280 pound linebackers that aren't strong enough to stand up against Afro weirdo. I forget the guy's name. I can't even stand to look at his face. When I see him, my only wish is to bash his face or bitch slap him because he's on the wrong side of history. He's lining his pockets with lies. But now it's took to a different level than that Rapinoe or Rapinoe or whatever that ugly dog is. And you students not going against the establishment, shame on you. We always ruffled feathers. I think I was born in the hospital as a conservative, but I've always hated establishment. I've always hated the status quo, because that's the group, the thieves, the major thieves, not the bank robbers and mafia types, the real thieves, the white collar thieves. I've always been against these people and will continue to do so. And it's a damn shame that YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere in any media we have, be it social or mainstream, is limiting our ability to communicate. So I say hell with it. Now, I am in South America right now, so thank God I don't have to deal with it. But to my British brothers and sisters, why don't you start knocking a few heads together? Because if you don't, your grandchildren are going to be murdered. That's what you're going to get. It's time to stand up. To you idiots in North America, it's time to do the same. If you don't stand up against evil, evil will kill you dead. Those people would not think twice about slicing your, you know what. They wouldn't think twice about it. They run up on you in a gang, they'd rip you in pieces because they have no morals, no ethical standards. They are the trash and the scum of the earth. From the tip top of our social media companies, to the trash at the universities, to those terrorists who went in and cut off the heads of those babies and tortured senior citizens. We've sat here and we've watched for several days here. This hospital got blown up. There was 500. Well, you know what? The hospital didn't get blown up. The missile wasn't sent from Israel. We factually know that now. And they're still parading that. And my message is, what the fuck of it if it did get blown up? You better think twice before you allow terrorists and trash in your neighborhoods. And that goes whether you live in 43rd Street in New York City, Britain Avenue on the outskirts of London, or wherever you are. Be careful who you allow around you, because it may be you that gets blown the hell up. It may be you that's collateral damage. As for me, I don't put up with the shit around me in the scope that I'm in. If I were in the United States right now, I'd probably do something to one of these punks that would get me slung in jail. I've made it a multi-decade thing. I'm not taking no shit off of weirdos and perverted deviants. Not 1 ounce of it. I don't care what the law says. If they're not protecting me, they're not protecting you, and eventually they're going to be at your door to haul your ass off. I mean, in Britain, they locked a lady up for her thinking because she was praying, not even in a kneeled position, outside of an abortion clinic. And the police came and told her, you're scaring people because you're praying. And this sort of mess is just, it's got to stop. You gotta decide which end of the barrel of or which end of the gun you're gonna be on. Are you gonna be on the butt end of it, or are you gonna be on the barrel end of it? Because you're gonna have to decide, everybody. You're gonna have to decide. And my decision is everywhere I see evil, perversion, and things like that, to stamp it the fuck out of where I am. And folks, that's just the way I conduct myself. People are always telling me, boy, you got some gall. I'm like, I've got the ability to get my ass beat's what I got. I will tote it. I will lose my life standing up for what's right. People tell me, you're alienating. Fine, I want to be alienated. I want that. I'm not looking to be a part of any group. But when I see injustice happening, when I see young punks going up on elderly, this putting up a poster that says something about my king, or says something about goodness in the world, and I see a young punk coming along to destroy that, I'll fuck him up. And guess what? I'm equal opportunity with that. It doesn't make any idea what your pronoun is, what your gender is. I'll go dead on your ass if you're in my presence. And that's just the way it'll be. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it will continue to be. when I'm 95 years old and I'm laid back on my deathbed, someone may come take me out. Out there in that street, someone may take me out. But you will never, ever see me cowering down and not making a stand because it'll hurt somebody's fucking feelings or anything else of the nature. I'll take it wherever I see evil. I respond back to evil tenfold. Tenfold. If you're out there and you're disrespecting, pushing around an elderly person, I will fuck you up tenfold. And I could care less about the law of any land. I will do what's concrete right for me. My laws that have been given to me do not change. Yours may. And to the rest of you out there, you're losing your freedom. You're losing your ability to even stand for right, as we see right now in Britain and Western Europe and North America. Keep doing what you're doing and sitting back and not doing anything. They've got you to where you think that on January the 6th there was an insurrection. They've got, and meanwhile, what you saw yesterday, all that trash rolling in the rotunda area there. But the ones that question the evil, they're sitting in the jails. You're going to be in jail too. Well, maybe you won't. The good ones already are in jail. They keep speaking up. And I suppose that's where I'll be too, or either dead. But you see, just like the terrorists they get to go off and get their virgins or whatever they get. I get to go where there's peace and goodness. So I'm willing to take a stand. Are you?